How's it going, everybody? I had a few requests to get this video out ASAP, so sorry for the delay. I tried to be as thorough as possible, so even if you don't play the character, there will be stuff that you will want to know. And I also included a complete rundown of all the weird interactions of his tier 2 feat. This video will be the last Zhanhu video for a while. I think we covered pretty much everything already. The frame check obviously, but I also, which I normally don't do, made a whole video with changes that I think would improve the character significantly. I still think Yubi somehow held back or changed things for the character at the very last second in fear of releasing an overly oppressive character. Here's hoping that they change their mind soon and actually let him use his kit to his full potential, because the idea and design behind him, unlike George, is a pretty cool one. But enough of that, shout out to Froggy and Tella for helping me with all the recording, so let's get to what you're actually here for. As usual, we're starting with the simple punishes. On GB, you do get a heavy. Sides don't matter, it will always do 30 damage. You can opt for a zone if you want to hit multiple people around you. That also goes for the heavy parry. You can either throw a light for 15 damage, or if your stamina allows it, you can do a zone attack for 20 damage. On light parry, you want to do a heavy again, 30 damage from all sides. Wall splats on the character aren't all that useful, as you already get a heavy from a normal Guardbreak, but there is one specific interaction with the back throw. I had talked about this in the previous video already. The back throw moves your own model quite a bit as well, so on perfect distance it allows you to whiff a light and then go into a combo heavy. You should always do the top one, as it has quite a bit of extra forward momentum. The side heavies might whiff. This gives you an extra 5 damage. It is somewhat risky, as you can never be 100% sure about the distance, especially since the wall is behind you. If you yourself are out of stamina and you get a Guardbreak, you can go for the wall splat and you will always get your heavy. The chain from throw to attack is incredibly responsive, which makes the heavy guaranteed even if you and your opponent are already directly at the wall. You can even change your guard and still hit it consistently. If there is no wall nearby, you can simply throw a light. Same goes for when you parry a light attack. Now here's something you need to keep in mind when you're facing a Zhanhu. If the person throws a heavy after a Guardbreak while out of stamina, you can parry it. The timing is extremely late, so don't press the button too early. But if the heavy is thrown after a light parry, then you cannot parry it. Don't attempt it, you will get hit. You can see that the game even plays the block sound and then the hit comes through. So remember when you can attempt the parry and when you should just block. Moving on to the out of stamina ones. On throw, you do side throw, then 2 heavies, that's a combined 65 damage. If you for some reason didn't throw to the side, you can still land zone into heavy, which does 55 damage. Both of these punishes are safe as long as your opponent doesn't regain his stamina. If he does regain it on wake up, you need to change it up. Light into heavy finisher is the safe version then. That one does a total of 50 damage. Similar issues on the out of stamina parry. The highest damage in one is zone into heavy for 55 damage. The same rule applies here again. If the person is still out of stamina on wake up, the punish is safe. If they regain stamina, it becomes unsafe. And once again, the safe option is light into unblockable finisher. For his revenge punishes, the highest damage in one is zone into unblockable, that's a combined 72 damage. The thing here is that you throw a combo finisher and you do tend to have multiple people around you when you get revenge. This means that the additional opponents around you get a free Guardbreak on you. So if you want to avoid that, you should throw light into zone instead. That's only 46 damage, but as the zone should either hit or block stun all opponents around you, you're safe from a Guardbreak. And you also have the option to continue your chain. So choose appropriately. Maybe it's worth to throw the unsafe punish but get a kill on it. You have a shield during the revenge duration, so eating 1 or 2 attacks might not be such a big deal in the end. Moving on to his deflect, which is, as most of you already know, pretty much useless unless you can confirm a teammate heavy or you ledge with it. All follow-up attacks can be parried, and even the stamina damage doesn't do all that much, especially since it doesn't even halt the stamina regen. On top of all that, throwing the heavy out isn't even all that safe. If your opponent does have a parry follow-up bash that does 30 or more stamina damage, it will knock you out of stamina. So yeah, don't actively look for the move, it's really not worth it. Now for his out of lock attacks, they are rather disappointing actually. The heavies do guarantee a light, but that's pretty much it. But none of the dodge attacks, not even the forward dodge heavy. But the running attack lets you connect the light. That's a total of 38 damage here. A lot of people have asked me if the light after the running attack is faster, and no, it isn't. But the link from running attack to light is much faster. There is almost no delay between. That's why it allows you to land that attack. Now for out of stamina and out of lock. I've explained this before, but the hit stun is even longer here. This allows you to land a light after a dodge heavy. A dodge light pushes your opponent too far away to even connect with a finisher light. The thing to know here is that your running heavy can land a finisher heavy for 55 damage. If you think this will never happen, may I direct you to my trap guide? There should be something popping up in the top right corner now. Okay, now for some additional tips, tricks, tidbits, whatever the other T word there is. The problem a lot of players might have when facing Zhanhu is that they parry the finisher on the wrong timing. Mistake a heavy for a light, thus parry too early, or the other way around. So you want to look at the animation for the attacks. And there is one clear giveaway which attack he throws. If the character shows you their back, then it's a heavy. If not, then it's a light. This is true on all sides. There is just one exception to this. A whiffed right side light into left side heavy will play an animation that doesn't show the back of the character. But in all other cases, it holds true. But talking about animations and whiffed lights, if you backstep light and then combo into a heavy finisher, then the character skips a couple of frames of the heavy animation. It needs to be a backstep light for it to happen. I can't quite explain why it's exactly this combination of attacks, but you should be able to clearly tell that this is not as smooth as it should be. Now something about the hitboxes. I've shown a lot about this in previous videos and many other content creators have covered this extensively, but no matter what they might say, I'm still of the opinion that the right side finisher is not working as intended. Otherwise we wouldn't have clips like this one here where the attack clearly goes through the character model. This is simply not acceptable. The other thing that I want to point out that I haven't seen anyone talk about yet are the hitboxes of the light finishes. The finishes have quite a bit of forward momentum, which makes it a bit hard to hit external opponents with it, but once you pay attention to the distance and utilize it properly, it is actually quite easy to externally hit people. The hitbox is at the very end of the animation, so pick the side accordingly. This is a lot safer than attempting this with heavies as the recovery is significantly shorter. And now, a full rundown of the tier 2 feat. It is by far the best new unique feat on him, despite having all these weird interactions. So, first of all, it's impossible to roll all the damage of it. If you trigger the trap, it will leave fire on the ground, and that fire instantly applies to everyone in the radius. So you will stagger and take damage. I will show you how you can combo that at the very end. But first we're going to go down the list of what you can do with it. The one thing pretty much everyone has seen already is the BP flip. Black Prior can bulwark counter the explosion of it. There is no range to it and there isn't really anything in general that won't make you stagger. As you can see, it pulls me off the ledge even though he's really far away. and it can even pull you off ladders. There's a very smooth animation here. So this obviously means that other full blocks can also be activated by the explosion. As you can see, Conqueror gets his unblockable counter move. This works even if you're locked onto someone else, so keep that in mind. And the same goes for Warlord as well. He can use Headbutt as well as the unblockable light. Range is a bit of an issue here though. Another possible thing to use are all superior block attacks. That's stuff like Warden's Crushing Counter for example, or Valkyrie's Superior Lights. The range on all of these is incredibly short and the timing as well is extremely finicky, so don't expect to hit these consistently without practicing. Another important detail to look at here is that damage reduction is applied. You can clearly see it when doing a superior block off a teammate. The top line only does 22 damage here. And yes, you heard right. You can use superior blocks with friendly attacks. So what else can you do? Correct, you can deflect the explosion. Opponents can deflect your trap. Opponents can also deflect friendly traps. And you yourself can also deflect your own trap, because why not? This also works for moves like Valkyrie's Spin, not just for all the assassin deflects, just in case you were wondering. And then there is one more interaction. You can also parry the explosion if you are already in a parry animation. All of these points towards the trap acting exactly like an external attack, including all the interactions with the traps of your teammate. And now for the specific combo interaction that I mentioned earlier. I showed you in my trap guide that you can roll bear traps and all other traps for that matter. Now combine this with Chilling Ruse, which you cannot roll. Exactly, you will get knocked out of your roll and then placed into bear trap. So don't hide the bear trap and place it as obvious as you can, but have a friendly Zhanhu throw his trap on top of it. You will not be able to roll it. I learned this the hard way and add 2 Highlander heavies on top of all that. But yes, that's it for this video. I hope I covered everything, but should you have any additional questions, please let me know. I have some leftover clips from wrapping up the characters, so enjoy those, and especially the glorious shit talk of our opponents. As usual, I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.